G'day punters, welcome to the deep dive, or at least it's still known as the deep dive at the moment. We could end up with about 4 different shows here on the mailbag with no names. If you've got a suggestion for what the deep dive could be called, let us know. I like the word narked because it means like when you've been diving for too long and you get too much nitrogen in your system, you end up becoming narked, which I think is just an appropriate name for racing because racing is full of narks, us included. Have a go when you're close. We're going to start by going straight into the Rupert Clarke Behemoth absolute beast mode, completely wrecked the field, but the race was probably a bit messy, I think it's fair to say. And if you're on Superstorm like I was, you're probably still just trying to work out how it didn't get a split at some point and make a big claim at the end. But again, we'll pass it straight on to Jack Dickens, who can just talk us through, because you had a couple of different bets in this race, didn't you?
Yeah, backed Banco, Age of Chivalry, and Windstorm.
Superstorm.
Yeah,
Don't get your storms mixed up.
Superstorm, sorry. Been a long day, guys. Superstorm, yeah. Pete, you said spot on. Learnt nothing. Wasn't tested. Never tested. Eaton Cascadian, total ignores runs. Cascadian sort of, I've had enough of it. That's like the third time in a row it sort of couldn't win. And I don't think it's any fault of Ollie's. Like, it just doesn't got enough speed for Caulfield. Just always like, no. Finally copped a good ride from D Lane here on Saturday, Age of Chivalry. Then the horse went no good. After he gave Divine Diosa in race 1 less than none. And then when the data came through, less than none. Reverted over 13 lengths slower than it went the previous start. Cheers, Damien. But did hear, don't know if it's true, that he almost fainted post race 1 from wasting so much, apparently, which I don't know. If he did, I sort of feel sorry for him, but at the same time, it's his job and he didn't do it very well on Saturday. So, but it's a great ride. Age of Chivalry. Madame Rouge and Pretty Brazen went enormous, but not suited. And probably the run of the race, which has just grabbed me up so much. And I don't know, see what Josh says here, but Regevic's probably the run of the race. And what's Uncle Lindsay doing? I don't know. Behemoth is a beast, dollar for dollar brave like it was last year. Akana Star, I think, blessed. I think Tagaloa went good, really good. 3 wide cast, bad ride, Walker. But I think Regevic, maybe Pretty Brazen and Madame Rouge are the 3 to follow. Madame Rouge and Pretty Brazen can go back to mares, I think, can't they? Josh?
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's a mares race coming up over 1,400 at Flemington. The name escapes me, but I think that's in a couple of weeks. I'm guessing Waller will take it to there. Although I did think that he might do a drop back to 1,200. But yeah, that was the one to follow for me out of the race, I thought. Reykjavik, I always thought it needed a soft track, but clearly not. Went super. Huge run. Cascadian, I don't know what happened in the run, but I remember seeing it and I wanted to back it. But then I said, it's not going to get any closer. The pace was on here. It was sort of like midfield. I thought it was much closer than it was usually. And I was filthy in the run because I thought it was just going to sneak through. And then once you see it across the line, I don't know how, but the stewards, this is not a shot at the jockeys, but this is more so the stewards have questioned Mandela effect.
Oh, it's all time. The stewards report all time in this race.
They didn't question Cascadian, which has done the same thing. Like they're the same run, and it was why it wasn't tested across the line for Mandela effect. Knew it gave a legit response because he was racing on heels. Like Cascadian's the same and what's behind it, but you got to sort of be consistent. Like they're both on heels, or just don't ask the question. Like it's just obvious you're not going to get an inside run in these big fields.
What did you think? What do you think of Willow just shifting out top of the straight, which has taken out a number of horses that were building momentum? It's not even in the stewards report.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought he might get through weeks for it.
It's a brave ride, but yeah, some certain races, certain jocks would get done for that. He sort of just gets out. It's it's sort of careless and didn't look
It's
great.
always a bit of a joke, like what you go, like you go to bed on a Saturday night, you go to bed on Friday night dreaming about the runs that you hope the horse is going to get that you want to back. You go to bed Saturday night thinking about the mistakes you made and what you can do better and blah blah blah. Then just put yourself to sleep, I read the Shields report, and some of the shit in there this weekend is just all the time. The Mandela effect thing's spot on. In race 2, maybe they've questioned Mellum for not pushing it. Race 3, the Montesira race, they've questioned Mellum for not shoving out onto Oliver on Valaquenta. Like, they could have fallen over, but they've questioned him for not taking the run.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. It was chaotic, I thought, the Rupert Clarke, when I watched it back. I didn't realise that in the run. I thought dollar for dollar was only going to pinch it. Super training effort, because that's a super run for me. It's probably, it's peaked off the quick backup. Tony McAvoy, they've done it again, almost pinched. I think that's twice.
They did last year. TS ratings,
yeah.
I think, found it both
TS
years.
ratings
So well done,
all
Tigsy.
over it.
Yeah,
TS ratings. I did see he laid something on the weekend, so condolences to him. But good to having a go. But anyway, out of the race, I thought, like you, Take a Loic, huge. I didn't like it pre-race, but I think it's a genuine horse, and I don't think the horse was underwriting it like early in the race. And that's just the way that the horse is. I thought, it's gone here, and it just held its ground super for, it's only lost a little bit on the overall field here, and it was super through the line for being 3 wide.
Yeah, well,
Michael Walker was like, Michael Walker did the right thing. Well, like, just put it forward. It was a fast pace, which is unlucky for it. Like, it was never going to be in the top 3 off a fast pace that wide, but just put it in the race, and he's done well, and he's got it across in 6th place. So you'd be happy with that.
The in-play punters in us saw it for a turn. You thought can't win, gap it, but it's stuck on.
But that's
you shouldn't be doing on the TV because you're 5 seconds behind. Do not bet in play after that corner. But it did look gone. It just kept finding. It's a tough little horse.
That's how it won the Blue Diamond. It was 3 wide, no cover. Obviously more of a leader's track than Saturday, but and it was underriding early. Just a pretty tough horse when you ask me. It hasn't had much luck being wide in the run.
All right, let's move on to the Foundation Cup, and they've gone very fast here. They've gone very fast in the class. They've gone very fast on the all-adjusted figure as well. Order of the Garter was just in the perfect spot and has produced a monster figure. From memory, it was the best of the day. Dickens, any more?
I think this is why he's the best. Like, he's in 10 early. Not only put his horse in the right spot, but it ruined Dr. Drill, who was maybe second favourite. I also think back to Willow. He got pretty lucky in the Rupert Clarke. Like, if he gets held in there, he doesn't get that run. He sort of got pushed 1 or 2 pairs further back than he would have wanted in the Rupert Clarke, and he got cast here 3 wide. Dr. Drill, you can ignore it, but geez, it was pretty weak still. Oregon beast, big win. God bless it. Thank you. Needed it. Chapada, Josh. What? It's gone fucking enormous.
Huge run.
We backed this thing.
It had the pace on. It had the pace on though, so it was sort of entitled to. But it's gone super first up run. When Moroni's really not I wouldn't consider him a first up trainer at all. I don't know where it's going to. Is it maybe potentially a Caulfield Cup scenario? I don't know.
No idea. Curly, you got any mail in Moroni camp?
No, mate. No mail here. Can't help you there. I do agree. Josh, though, the speed was on for it, but it still had to, chase that hot speed and finish off, which it did. Ran well.
Thought Steel Prince was enormous. It might be going that same race that it almost, I think it got bobbed out of last year with Surprise Baby, or maybe it beat Surprise Baby.
It beat it, just.
But I think maybe the run of the race, which has just grown me right up, is Gaelic Chieftain. Oh. It's gone fucking enormous. But I'm so great up because Polly Gray has been up forever. I think it had a little jump over the sticks. It was a 3 wide cover run on this fast pace, and it's finished as good as anything. It's a proper performance. if you back Polly Gray and got beaten by Mahatma at Moonee Valley like a month ago, you're entitled to feel very, very sick.
Yep.
I really like. I think even down to Supergirl's a really good run. Supergirl's a horse with a nice amount of ability.
Yeah, I think what Curls is saying there, in good health. God,
I thought it was super huge.
This horse has grown wings on a fast tempo, very fast pace. 5-year-old mare, Moody's got it. It's now one that listed, come fourth in a Group 3 after not doing a whole lot before that. You know, as a benchmark, what was it? Benchmark 64 raider.
It's performed a lot better than every other horse on the speed, except for the winner too in this race. Like, you know, Hackey's dropped off like a shot. Think We're Juice stopped pretty badly. But again, it just sort of grazed me up with what.
And what about Kinan? Those owners would be filthy that they haven't sold that, I guess.
But don't they have heaps?
Yeah.
You can always have more though.
Yeah, there's always more exponential growth.
But once I had enough, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't sell it. How many houses do you need? Like all of a sudden you're a jockey.
For sure.
I don't know. I like ASAP Rocky's take on money. If money hasn't changed you haven't got enough.
Wisdom.
Always.
ASAP Curly.
Always room.
All right, race 9, Lyre went out a dominant favourite, and can we make excuses for it? That's probably the question. Or is it just gone after one run?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the mare. Maybe, I don't know, what are they going to do for the spring? But I don't know, she probably needs some time off now. But I didn't think she was like all that bad.
I thought there was a genuine excuse.
She made ground. She made ground on it. I can't give too many excuses. It was an even tempo. You know, winner was very good. I was heavily against this Felicia because I thought it was just.
They just stopped the race before off a perfect run. So
yeah,
maybe that force was so good. Oh, hang on, bang! It is.
I was very interested by the tactics change here on Broadway and fourth. I thought the horse was super for being changed. You know, change of tactics to be ridden that far forward. Usually it's cold. Usually it's like train station, rounding the bend, which is how you got to ride some of these horses. But to change the tactics on it and it to let down like it did, I thought it was super. So pretty good training effort first up there from Mitch. So it's in for a pretty good spring again. Fiesta, I thought was a huge run. Like this must be Waller's only first up horse. Like this thing just flies first up.
So you're saying be careful second up?
I don't know what it does then off the first. It's going to be
everyone's black book.
6 starts for 3 seconds is what it's done historically second up.
I probably wouldn't completely fall off it finds the right race. But that escaped me, that one.
That's what that's doing.
Yeah, incredible. Bonds Abroad hit the line well again. Missile Mantra, doing the same old stuff.
Did you think Lyre was entitled to finish off better late?
Yeah, I gave away my lead for the day here. Launched at Lyre, despite respecting the winner. Complete fuck up. But watching I hated the ride. Then I watched the replay. It looked to me like he sort of knuckled, but they're saying in the stewards report it clipped heels. But then it sort of looked like he sort of gave up on it for a bit because he was trying to look after her. The way he rode through the middle section just wasn't close enough, I don't think. But then you look at it, it has got through the line all right. It's got a genuine excuse. And like we sent a huge bet, but we took like 270, say, and it started 250 in 4 minutes. Or 250 and it started like 228 or something like that. There's a strong case to be made if you're not like mentally scarred like I probably am, that this horse had excuses and had a dominant FP over these horses. It's just great. I'm great today.
Oh, very great. All right, race 4. I think you guys wanted to talk about front page versus from within in terms of tactics up front. Who wants to go first?
I think it was an abomination. I think this horse is like, I think it should be ridden like Pippi, lead at its own pace. But after consulting King of Queensland up there, I didn't realise From Within did have so much speed under it. It's led at some pretty quick tempos and also won. So it's got quite a lot of tactical speed. But I was surprised to not see it. He just needs to lead on its own. I don't know. A half-potted German after the race. I didn't back it, but I just thought it needs to be on its own in its own lead.
Does this horse have a slot in a race in that?
Isn't it the Kosciuszko or something? Is that right?
I don't know. Clue.
Sport a ticket, one of those $5 tickets. Is that how it works?
I think that, I think that these races that are locked in and programmed a long way out have an effect on intent on runs leading up to.
You could even use the other I word there.
No, that's my vocabulary covered.
Yeah, it's going to the Kosciuszko, and Lewis German's keen to ride it again, they say.
It's going to the Kosciuszko, and I can't cross From Within, so I might just grab hold here and just look after this horse a little bit.
I think, to be fair to Lewis, it's only gone quicker than this to the 600 once in its life, or once that I can see on its pony form data. At Flemington, it went 7.7 to the 6. It's gone 4.2 here. It's not a huge difference. I don't know. If these people who got obviously stuck into him got stuck into this horse, and I don't get it. It was very, very short for a horse that might not be 100% trying. He's a young rider who makes a lot of mistakes. If you think this rider was bad, watch what he did to Clarice Cliffs.
I don't think the data said it's gone that bad. It won an off-season listed race, and then it had more than Christmas time on it. It's still run. It's like he's gone 3.5 lengths slower to the 600, but he's come home 2.8 faster. He ran a 12 figure at Flemington. He's returned an 11.3 here.
I just don't think, the sit and sprint suited From Within more. I just think that the pace, if he'd ridden it quick against From Within, he would have had that energy left. He could have killed From Within off much earlier than, he didn't. So I think he just needed to ride it much quicker than he did. I just don't think the horse is like a sit and sprint type. I think it's like that burn along tactical speed type.
Yeah, but I think the way they went like 10.96, 8 to the 6, and then 11.52, 6 to the 4.
Yeah, it's not done bad.
That shouldn't suit either leader.
The Flemington run is what I'm talking about. Run it at least at some decent tempo, and you're going to drop off in the last 200, not have a good figure in the last 200 against the race, but you've already burnt him off that it's almost impossible to run you down with the sections you've burnt early.
Just on from within, it's produced 5 career figures of a minus 12, so 12 lengths above. 2 of those has been for Danny O'Brien. There's been 2 for AJ Edmonds. There's been 1 for Edward O'Rourke, but the first trainer it was with was CJ Waller, who couldn't manage to get any of those career peak figures out of it. So it's a horse that's been pretty consistent across the journey outside of its first prep. Interesting, that.
I reckon this was a major error, though. We should have been on this horse, just real small, but it had a competitive figure.
Huge figure at Caulfield, tracking distance, back 2018 in the spring. So
thank you, Josh.
Just to nail it home. It's always good to review. This is why we review. We find these. Harry Hindsight's here, everyone.
Yeah, no, I regret this and the liar play from the day. I also thought, G. Moore rode this horse real well. I think he needs some credit. He made it awkward for the kid.
Yeah.
I thought his ride on Shandy too, going back to the staying race, was outstanding. That was drawing the car park and he ended up sucking up the fence. Probably didn't get a lot of luck still, but he gave the horse more chance than it would have had. Would have been sort of towing in behind Polly Gray.
For sure.
Very nice. And look, we'll just touch on race 1 because it was a race with 0 commission for the fair, and I guess it's probably too early to tell what impact, if any, it actually had on the day. There was a lot of sort of just noise from various. What's a nice term to use besides mouthpieces? Anyway, on Twitter leading up to it, saying that how good is it for punting? Well, it's turned out to be the second lowest matched race on the day. And granted, it was a race where the favourite paid $5.90 or SP'd $5.90 in Divine Diosa, but I think there's still a little bit of water to go under the bridge in terms of how much of an impact it has on the wagering market and whether or not it's as significant as, say, increasing minimum bet laws and having them earlier. But anyway, Divine Diosa, do you want to touch on that, Dickens? You did earlier.
Well, I just would rather they put some liquid into their markets. It's the greatest betting platform there is, but it's no good to you until you get close to the race.
Truth time is when it's good for.
Yeah, real late. Which
last 3 minutes.
Exactly right, and that's why I'm confused what happened here, because there was no change of tactics. My mail is the stable had no idea. The market came for it. I think we took $7 5 minutes before it raced. They jumped. It started what, Peter? 580. Divine Diosa.
590. Yep.
Like big go. Horse that normally settles in the first 2 or 3 horses in a race. They have gone so fucking slow here that I can't figure out why is D Lane. He jumped with them and elected to go back. Now, when you watch the TV only, you think they've gone real quick, and that's why he's done that, because he's a great rider. But then you see the sectionals, they haven't gone quick at all. Still somehow almost won. Nothing in the stewards report about that. They need, just have one of the interns just up there in a clock. Just do it by hand even. They need to have sectional times to police racing. Like, this is so slow, Josh, is it not?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you.
Could you believe there was nothing in the stewards report about change of tactics here or question the ride or?
Yeah, it is questionable
if this was $7 out to $9, I would be going so firm here and so hard that we'd probably get in trouble. But the market loved it, so it doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying anything untoward happened because I don't think it did. I think it was a brain fade.
It was small field. It was the wide gate. I don't know. They must have got a map and thought there was a lot of pace in the race. But the horse shows, it's performed so well sitting on pace, like when it won at Sandown. Last time it settled so that far back was, its first up run this prep, which was over 1100. So you can't say. And it's even showed, a bit of speed in that But yeah, it was bizarre. I don't know. I wasn't invested in the race because I wasn't getting sucked into no commission. I don't get sucked into gimmicks. But Pikey looks like he got really coffined on this race. He got really stuck on that rail. Another victim to the Caulfield coffin, but over 1600 this one. But yeah, nothing much coming from the race from me. A weird one.
Okay, we'll move on to Queensland. We'll start with race 7, Curls. Kisukano was the favourite. Epic Girl caused the upset. But you wanted to touch on what the market did in this race.
Yeah, just a little thing I've been keeping an eye on with the totes and the tote fluctuations, or manipulations, as some might refer to. For those that follow me on Twitter, I often have a little bit of banter with Josh Nelms on Twitter there regarding the tote manipulations. But this Kisukano was a horse that we discussed in the preview. I said it was, this was the right time of its prep to lay it. Look, they could have gone either way with the bob of the head basically finished, but Epic Girl sat outside it. Really interesting one for me was the prices here. Like, I don't know, do you have the Betfair SP there in front of you, Pistol? I'm looking at a QOP of $16. There are only 2 corporates SP 16s, the rest were 18s and 21s on the winner.
It was $20.40 Betfair SP. The totes have paid in Victoria $12.50, New South Wales $14.10, UBet $18.10, or whatever they're calling Queensland now.
Yeah, I don't count Queensland anymore. There's about 3 and 6 in the pool, or threepence in the pool. It's amazing what's going on with the shorteners on the TAB. It just seems to be a case of horses that land in the right spot shorten somehow, and horses that don't somehow their price is longer. It's a strange. It's one that I've been monitoring a fair bit. But yeah, look, Kisukano led. Epic Girl sat outside it. I sort of thought Epic Girl might put a bit of speed on, but they really did. They really did slow up. I was sort of a little bit invested in She's Boss, just from the fact that there could be a bit of speed on. Do you have Betfair SP there? I'm just looking at the flux here. It was $7 out to $9.50 on the fixed, as much as $11 bet fixed.
Yep, $15.50 was the SP.
Yep. Robbie Frad rode the horse, began like it was going to go back and get covered like it's normally racing pattern, but he's kicked up and ensured that he was able to sit 3 deep midfield. And then widest runner. So that was all she wrote there with the tempo. I think they went a bit slower than what I anticipated anyway, but she got rolled and she'll go to the paddock now and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, it'll come back all right. But it was a good result on the lay side anyway. But not so much on having something. She's Boss. Tempo was pretty steady.
Okay. Now, speaking of steady tempos, you also wanted to have a look at 2 races at the Gold Coast. One was race 3 and one was race 6, and the lead times there and how they impacted on the races. I'll give you the floor, Ciurleo.
Start with race 3. So this is I sent out in the preview when I did the worksheets and the prices. I was very savage on the 2 Tony Golan short price favourites, Run for Glory in race 4 and the Move in race 6. Georgina Cartwright was having her first rides in Queensland and lobbed on a couple of.
Shane, just be careful. Josh, number 1 ticket holder of the Georgie fan club, all right? Been there for a long time. He would have watched every ride so far up there in Queensland. He would have missed it for the fortnight she had to isolate.
I'm out there watching her track work.
Good time to put me on mute then, brother. Yeah, so look, you'd have a look at that race, that Run for Glory race. Now, they've gone out 15.6 lengths slower than average. Now, Ryan Maloney led on a David Van Dyke horse here, Bar Gannon. Back in trip, blinkers on. He's gone too slow. Should have won the race. Could have had Run for Glory, way outside its comfort zone. So, Georgina was able to just to lob outside the lead, outside the leader here and just sit at its girth, basically. And then was just a bit brilliant for that other one. So, Bar Gannon. Back in trip, fitness on side, 550 into 420. Like I said, once it led with the blinkers on, I thought, well, this is rock hard. This is going to make this favourite work, and it's going to be too strong for them late. We're on Aquavit in the race. A noted leader has led at good clips, and I just cannot catch young Huxtable at the minute. He leads when I think he'll go back, and he goes back when he's on the leader. He's grabbed hold on Aquavit for some unknown reason, and they've gone 15 lengths slower. Aquavit itself's gone 17 lengths. Now, I'm just going to get into a bit of a therapy session here. Aquavit's last 2 runs before this, he's gone out 4.5 lengths quicker, a length and a half quicker, 4 lengths quicker. Its last 3 runs. Saturday, it's on its home track, at the 1400, where again Rock Hard Fit should be in front running along, and he's grabbed hold from the jump and gone 17 lengths slower than average lead time. So anyway, Run for Glory, who I was against, was able to park at the leader's girth, and yeah, this is going to sound ridiculous because it's won its last 4 or 5, like completely kissed on the male genital by a fairy.
Yeah.
This prep. So congratulations to everyone involved. Then we'll roll across to race 6.
Was that in the steward's report?
That the horse was kissed on a male genital by a fairy?
No, and also like that they went so much slower.
Did it say anything about like Georgie running out of pipes, like at the end. Like she was really struggling to push that thing over.
Yeah, look, it's no. Well,
Get in the gym,
no, there's
Georgie.
nothing in there.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. What do you say? That's just punning, Queensland edition style, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, no, I went through that. I went through this yesterday, and there was nothing in there apart from Run for Glory laid in under pressure in the home straight, and Palace Tycoon lost a near hind plate. Off we go. Yeah, that's it. Well, there's nothing more to report. Race 6. Yeah, this was the move. So this was a horse that I was against. Another one that I was against. I just said it's not a kid's horse, and if this horse has to get a dig to go forward, which you'd expect it to do, it's got the best figures. Expect it to lead, but it's a massive jockey switch from Bailey Notiff to young Cartwright. She led on this one, and she went out at 10.7 lengths faster than average, which I wasn't unhappy about because I was on the lay side. I didn't find the winner, unfortunately, which was a massive error on my behalf. A Les Kelly horse, when the money's on at the Gold Coast, is normally just a matter of just clipping your ticket on the way through to collect. A massive error for me there. But the move has missed a place. It's ran 5th. Like I said, it's gone out ridiculously quick, and it couldn't pick its legs up late. Ran its last 600 in about 13 lengths slower than average. Stewart's report did mention this horse, the move, saying that after pressing an amount to go forward, the gelding refused to settle, and as a result, didn't finish off as expected.
Did you get a suspension?
3 weeks, you saw?
No, we don't do that in Queensland because we don't have enough jockeys.
You could get Amy Vandis. What's her name? Did you go? Your mate?
All in all, it was a pretty sort of ho-hum day. Probably the most exciting run of the day was Zoo Style in race 8.
God bless it.
Another massive error from me. I underbet this horse. It should have been a max bet. I sort of went a 2/3 bet. Got a really good push out of the yard for the horse, and the horse continued to drift, and it was close to even money at the jump. And that was just stupid on my behalf there as well. Made a couple of errors there at the course of the meeting. That was I suppose it's good to make the mistake of to understand the mistake anyway in the review. It's part of the process, not just reviewing the races, but reviewing the wagering and the staking as well. And that was a fucking missed opportunity there. I'm sick on myself.
So that was the best performance of the day with 5.2 above on the all average benchmark. But we'll also touch on race 1 because you absolutely nailed that race on the
should we talk about this first?
Thursday night.
God bless you. You and Rob kept me sort of chipping away well in front all Saturday, but I was on the phone to Peter post race 1 at Gold Coast and had like a panic attack as I looked in one of my accounts, and there was like heaps of cash there, and I put on on a Saturday morning at the mailbag. If you're on every product, there's a lot of bets going through from 9 o'clock till about 9:08, and you just kind of fucking banging them on. And so I thought, like, you can back this up, Pete, like I panicked, like, oh shit, something's happened, like all my bets are rejected or my account's dead, but no, a little bit tipsy, pissed Thursday night, I've whacked this horse on the live show and then whacked it again when you sent it on Saturday morning. So complete nut of fill. 750 we took Thursday. God bless you, Curly. Thank you very much. Again, backed up by really juicy today on Sunday. You hit 1 from 1. We got some fat there at Ballarat. The counts are back. It's good. Thank you. God bless you.
Nice to get one right. The race didn't go exactly to plan, but it never does when you bet up here. But I I was pretty keen to lay Adventurine win and place. It was $2.70 when we done the preview. Ended up SPing around $5, I think. It's ran fifth, beaten 6 lengths, and sort of expected better than best to lead and win. But we had a little jockey change where I'm not sure whether you guys are across Queensland, but you remember our friend Lukey Tarrant, the guy that headbutted Larry Cassidy when he had his helmet on that day. He's got the big tattoo. He's got the big tattoo. Outside. He's got the big tattoo, second sucks on across his chest. He's done a bit of time for illicit drugs, testing positive and things like that. Like real proper, good jockey, but really good. I really like him as a jock. Now, he didn't lob Saturday. He didn't lob Saturday at the Gold Coast to ride, so we got the gentleman jock Ronnie Stewart. So that's why rather than sort of go and cross the leader, Ronnie just let the kid come up his inside and just sat half a length in front of him in the run. But we got, like, he didn't get the best ride, but he got the job done. Is where I'm going. Didn't rate all that highly. Just happy to take the win and move on.
How big's the second sucks?
It's on a par as the Such Is Life sort of operator over in the West there.
How's dog?
Yeah. Anyway, that's the only other thing really to report from Queensland to follow up was the Michael Nolan Dalby sting.
Oh, what happened?
Short Sarah.
Began with them and sort of pushed up and was about a length.
Race 5 at Dalby.
It sort of got she sort of raced up and outside the leader and then forgot to cross outside the leader. There was a length and a half back to the third horse, but she never sort of crossed down. So just continued to chase the horse the whole way. So it's ended up 3 deep the trip. Sort of wobbled around the corner a little bit, and then the favourite was sort of 3 back the fence, railed up, and then got a split, and then put us away late. Horses ran well to run second, but just didn't sort of go the way they anticipated, and the way I anticipated either, unfortunately. But anyway, we'll find another one this week.
All right, that's Queensland. I'm going to sum up Belmont in about 2 sentences. He always finally exploded and delivered on the promise with a big best of the day performance, proper 1,000-metre horse. It's outstanding pony, that one. Celebrity Queen, well bred for the Cerise and White, has returned with a near career best performance first up. That horse is going to be on track for some black type. That's it. Let's move straight along. There's only 2 weeks left at Belmont. It can't come quick enough. Can't wait to get back to Ascot. Talking point, there was some cash matched on a horse named Verry Elleegant on Friday on Betfair to the tune of roughly 12,000, a bit over 12,000. I guess it's just interesting, just given the prices it was matched, just gone through and just had a look at some of those figures. We're talking about 8,140 matched at $2.60, very, very late on the 9th of the 19th. And then also we're looking at $2.58, 6,000 match there as well on the 18th. So, yeah, just an interesting perspective because you don't often see that amount of volume traded on a Friday, especially if there hasn't been too many fluctuations on the fixed odds. So I was just wondering if you guys had any impressions of that.
Wow.
To want to lay a horse for $12,000 in the highest taxed possible way to wager on sport and racing in Australia on a Friday looks very, very sus to me.
Very sus.
The interesting part, it must be said, was that obviously there was a heap more traded on the day, and especially the last half hour.
Of the 12 grand, they've say someone's done something dodgy here, they've only got 10 of that. Maybe less, right? But
what did it SP?
It SP'd short, so that's what I was. Basically, it opened $2.60 half an hour before the jump, or there was some match at that 260 mark. It's closed $2.28 for just under 400,000 match. So, the price there was far better shopping if you were wanting to lay it on the day. But it just seemed interesting that someone was prepared to go a bit early there. SP $2.32.
Do you know what price they matched at on the Friday?
Yeah, well, it was being traded at that $2.58 to $2.60 mark.
Yeah. So they don't even care. They're way over the market.
Well, it's not as if it's an arb opportunity either. I'm not sure whether there was a promo or something from one of the corps, but like 230 was the highest price anywhere from Wednesday. 240, you might have found a bit of 240.
So what do you think it must have? It just looks a bit weird and dodgy, if anything.
Well, even if you're taking the 260, what's your commission rate? 10%.
10%.
Yeah.
Say 5% if you're a top level. If you got a 50% discount, someone was still wanting to lay it.
I just think it was probably just some smart operator that thought second up, not going to get a softer track. Probably just a pot, and the market went the other way. But it's just a big amount to see that sort of a thing.
And on a Friday,
on a Friday, yeah. Which is weird.
Interesting one.
Yeah.
Right, they got it right at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if they got it right against SP, but yeah.
It didn't ever really look like it was going to win.
Everything, you put everything else aside I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist here, but from a wagering point of view, this shit really matters. You got one stable with 4 runners, and one of them's been laid for 12,000 on a Friday. If you're not putting that in, if you're not factoring that in, into your form assessment, you're not doing it right.
I agree with you, but the market doesn't. The market's whacked this thing into $1.30 to $2.35 or whatever.
Market's not always right.
No, but what Curly's saying, I think is right. But what I would expect would happen if we saw that it got matched at 260 on a Friday, that it's going to SP like north of 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on the toes of the Sydney review show, but from memory, I think Imaging sort of snicked to get Colding in, and Verry Elleegant map where it was always going to map, and there's a little bit of money. There's a little bit of money right at the death for the winner. It's it's the thing. The money talks. It's truth time on the fair. Anyway,
but Wallace still got the first 4 across the line, so something for the stable.
It's really great to see that. That's great for racing. That's
great for the battlers.
All right, we've got one question from Crow. Dearest Jack was interested to hear Lizzie saying on the weekend that she had been waiting for Gelding's form to improve before she put it in her numbers from the yard. Does form improve a horse's looks? Sincerely, Crow. I'll put it this way.
Me or you?
Well, it was addressed to you, but my favourite yard watcher on a broadcast is Jenny Chapman, Jenny from the paddock up there in Hong Kong. And the reason I love her is because if she doesn't like the way a horse looks, she comes out and says it. She often say I don't like the way that this horse parades in general, but this is as good as this horse will look. If a horse is, dancing and fat and sweaty and all those great things, she'll say it. It doesn't matter what price it is. And often her first 4 is reflected purely on what horses look like. She also does the form and then will throw out her best and her long shot for the day. But I guess that seems proper yard, and probably for me still very much the gold standard of broadcasting of the mounting yard presentation. So for me, no, form does not improve a horse's looks.
No, it doesn't, but I can understand it definitely would maybe put it in like HD light for you, if it's a nicer horse with a stronger form reference. But I don't know, who's he talking about? Rob? I wasn't listening.
Good. No, Lizzie Lizzie was saying that on the weekend.
Yeah,
Rob obviously
well,
doesn't do it before.
I've never listened to her. I'm not going to bag her, definitely. And if I was on TV, I'd say heaps of things that didn't make sense. I bet you over the top journey.
She nailed a few winners on set. She was having a ripping Saturday, but
I think that
told that she's a good judge though of the yard. So if you are following her, she's definitely one to go off.
She's not as good as Rob Scurry. You should get the mailbag to Condor, shouldn't you, Josh, and buy Rob's. But
correct.
the
Rob
yard's
on
one
fire.
thing, then the betting advice is the other. So it's got to match up with everything else. You know, you got to like the form enough versus the price, like the price enough versus the map versus the pattern, blah blah blah. With bet. It's just another part of the puzzle.
Yeah, Lizzie should probably be all yard because that's what she is at there. They've got their own tipsters on that network, and then they should say they should tick the boxes with that. They should say, hey, Lizzie's ticked it off from the yard, then put the form on top of it if I was doing that sort of thing.
What about .com? Improved lens. Every horse paraded perfectly, and I was able to watch them all and gain a lot of insight throughout the day. Race 7, missed a few. Group 1 Turak, doing their usual attempt to be Channel 7 while the horses walk in the background, gets about horse 10, and there's jockeys on them. Just great improvement. There's a long way to go still. It's frustrating, and there's a lot of good horses down the weights in the Rupert Clarke that can win.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. All right, horses to follow from the whole team. Curls, do you have a horse that you want to follow?
No.
Dickens, do you have a horse that you want to follow? And you can say no, it's okay.
Gaelic Chieftain.
Good. Josh?
Yeah, I'm a bit with Dicko there. Probably Madame Rouge as well when it gets to Flemington. Probably over bet.
Yep. And I'm firmly in the no camp as well. Just no.
It's a massive week ahead, guys. We've got to get on with it.
Exactly.
I've got to answer a question that I was sent to me.
All right.
I need to answer it. Well, I have to. Sometimes I get a little bit twitchy and tweet.
Yeah, I know.
You know what it's like. You know what it's like. I'm telling you. I haven't been heavily involved, or wasn't heavily involved at all, actually, in this race. We had one winner at the Sunny Coast yesterday from one bet, but I was sort of half interested in a couple of horses in race 7 and nearly sent it out. Didn't. And this seems to be a really recurring theme. I said that there's some jocks in that race 7 at the Sunny Coast yesterday, which are purely no bet propositions. Now, apprentices on back markers in Queensland are I'm twitchy Frank when I see it because I want to be on them. But if they have to jockey for position, you're dead set may as well just take your money, roll it, light it, and smoke it and get a massive head spin. And it'll be a lot more fun.
Don't bring that up on this week's show.
I
would roll it.
I did reply to a comment on that tweet inferring that it was Robbie Fraud, and it was. And he's not a betting proposition for me, unless there's a couple of factors, and I want to see money because when I see in money, I see intent. And I don't think this is necessarily all Queensland. I think this is everywhere. I think the Sydney boys touched on it. About jocks will take a run if it's half there in a good money race, but if there's a big race coming up next week, they're sort of keeping their powder dry to make sure they don't get a 7-day suspension and shit like that. That's a real thing. And I remember Brenton Avdulla was interviewed one day when he pushed the inside rail over to get an inside run in $1 million race. And he said post-race, I wouldn't have done it if it was a benchmark 72 on a Thursday. I accept that mentality. I agree with that mentality. No issue.
It's common sense.
Of course it is. I've seen a horse of Edmonds' called Beach Break. Edmonds had 2 in the race a couple of Wednesdays ago. Absolutely fell off the cliff, $5.50 into $2.80 late. Robbie was 3 back the fence, and it looked like he was riding in Magic Millions because he just pushed him out of the way, and he was bouncing up and down and had the reins over the horse's head, bashing it over the line to get the job done. And then you go into a regular Sunday afternoon meeting, and he's on a $3.30 pop, and it's sort of tucked away the fence, and I'll just sit here, and it happens a lot. So I suppose I'm trying to give people the guy that asked the question, Joe. It's not. That's not me talking about a jockey, having a crack at him. It's just about my mentality when I'm approaching having a bet. And if I don't see the market, if I don't see some market support for the ride, I'm just not coming into it. It's as simple as that. And I think he's ridden 3 winners out of his last 50. He's ridden 7 winners for the season. Striking at less than 10%, which for one of Queensland's sort of supposed leading jockeys is just not good enough. The other example in the race is like I said about apprentices getting bullied and not being able to find a spot and just getting completely lost. There is had been a lack of apprentice jockeys in Queensland, and a lot of them have been promoted into provincial and metropolitan riding ranks way before they're ready. And basically, if they can't sit on speed and allow a horse either inside it to dictate the speed or inside or outside it to dictate the speed, they're hard to catch. So that was what the tweet was referring to, and I hope that sort of answers the question for Joe to sort of let him know where my head's at when I'm approaching.
All right. Week ahead, Kills.
Yeah, well, we've got the Toowoomba Cup / Wheatwood Handicap Day on Saturday as the main metropolitan meeting in Queensland.
Ooh.
So that's going to be a really big one for me. We've got Bow Desert Tuesday, Eagle Farm Wednesday, Ipswich Thursday that we'll be dabbling in. Friday off to get set for a big Saturday, the metropolitan meeting to Toowoomba, the provincial meeting at the Gold Coast.
Very good. Dickens, for yourself?
It's a really good week. Kyneton tomorrow.
Oh.
I love Kyneton.
Kyneton.
Actually was an extra there with Jack Irish once. Watched it. I don't know what episode it was, but I'm basically an actor. And I filmed it at Kyneton, and I got to go to the races and everything.
Did you get paid?
Yeah, I'm paid actor, Peter. I told you this before.
Did you meet Guy Pearce?
We nodded at each other, I felt.
Who had the better beard at the time, you or Guy?
No, the better beard was the Indigenous fella. He looks like he'd be good fun too.
Yeah.
They're like the heavy guy on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, who was I? Yeah, so
Aaron Pedersen.
Some 4 maidens there at Kyneton. Then Flemington on Wednesday, outstanding, excited. Sale Thursday, I love betting at Sale. Probably 4 maidens there to have a good look at. Valley Friday night, Caulfield Saturday. So as soon as we stop this, I'm going to start the Flemington meeting. I've already done half the Kyneton meeting. Then tomorrow Sale. Just can't wait. Big week.
Excellent. All right, Josh, thank you as always for jumping on board, and we'll let Dickens get to work.